Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boys Mo and Lottie, and this is the Supercast. The Supercast where we talk about all things superhero in our pop culture media. That's movies, TV shows, video games. We talk about the news, do some speculation, all that good nerdy stuff. And before we get into the podcast today, do us a favor, get down there, hit like on this video. Or if you are listening to us on a podcasting platform, go ahead and leave us a review, 5 stars if you think that's what we deserve. But whatever, any kind of interaction, that would be great. And man, we are like in kind of the in-between times right now. We're waiting for Invincible Season 2, Part 2 to come out. We're kind of, if you're a nerd, you're off of the Dune Part 2 high. And X-Men 97 is in a couple weeks. I can't believe it. So, and also, a lot of things are being made right now. So, it's a good time to be a comic book fan. But before we get into this week's news, do want to say what's up to my homie Lottie. Lottie, man, what's going on, man? And what you been up to that's nerdy?
I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm really enjoying it so far. I've also discovered a new animated show on HBO Max called Scavenger's Reign. If you are into like sci-fi, beautiful like storytelling, you really will like this show. Like I discovered it. Yeah, I discovered it on Monday, and I watched the entire first season that same day. It was that good.
I feel like I think I may have even put it on my list. Is the main character a black dude?
You think it's a black dude? It's actually a black woman.
Black woman, okay.
But it's not a singular main character. There are 5 main characters, and they're split up into 3 groups. There's an old white guy who's with a Latina woman, and then there's the black woman with the AI robot, and then there's one guy who's literally by himself. But it's really good because you see how the 3 separate groups like survive on the planet, because it's like this hostile alien like planet. Because like the first group I told you about, like the white guy and the Latino woman, they figured out how to use like the planet to power their technology, while the black woman, she figured out how to use the stuff on the planet to like make weapons and defend herself. And the final person, the white guy, the scrawny white guy, he figures out just how to basically become a cuck to one of the aliens. And when I say he becomes I'm not over exaggerating. He literally becomes a cuck to one of the aliens, like legit. I'm not making that up. But it's a really good show. I highly recommend it.
That sounds good. I had it on my list of many things I need to watch. I don't know about you, man. Like, I feel like there's not enough hours in the day now. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't help that, I'm getting extra hours at work, and also gardening season is in full swing. So I'm like, I'm spending a lot of time outside. I know it's weird, nerds being outside, but we do go outside occasionally. But nerdy stuff I'm doing this week. Finally got caught up on Halo, on the 5th episode of Halo. And also, I want to say I'm trying to get back and playing video games. It's really hard to. I mean, in fact, I'm kind of setting them aside in favor of doing a rewatch of the X-Men, animated series in the lead up to X-Men 97. And also, as I appear to be doing every single week, got a new action figure. Actually, Lottie, you'll probably really like it. I got to show you a picture of it or something, or you got to come over. It's you remember in the Loki season 1, the old school Loki with like the yellow and green outfit with the big horns and everything.
Yes.
It was on sale on Amazon, so I hooked it up, and he is sitting there on my shelf right now looking at me do the podcast. It's pretty dope, actually. Say standing next to Wakanda Forever Nakia. which she looks pretty cool too. So yeah, I would say save me from my bad habit, but I'm actually kind of cool with this one. So yeah, just I'm planning very much to try to get. Oh, there's another one. Lottie, the Iwaju. I don't know if you saw that series on Disney Plus, but if you haven't watched it, how dare you disrespect your ancestors like that when it's based in Nigeria. It's literally about futuristic Legos,
I'm
excuse me.
going I'm going to watch it, but it's going to be sort of like a watch party with some of my friends in Nigeria. So,
That's
you
what's
know the
up.
time difference. So it's we just got to get it, coordinated right because of the time difference. It's probably going to be like on a Sunday.
Yeah. No, that's what's up. I saw and I was like, well, I gotta get in. I was supposed to watch it this last weekend, but man, I was like mad busy. So gonna try to knock that out. And also, I finished watching the Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is pretty good actually. If you like the cartoon, I mean, if you are a kid who watched the cartoon obsessively, you're probably gonna be like, "What is this shit?" But if you, like me, saw it one time and thought it was good, hey, this is pretty much the same show, and it's pretty good in live action. And also, apparently, got renewed for its second and third season, so they are actually going to finish the show. Good to know.
That's good.
But I do recommend it. I think it's pretty good. So anyway, we still do have to talk about superhero stuff today, and we got a lot of stuff to go through. We got some rumors, various rumors about things that are in production. Captain America: Brave New World, the Armor Wars show, some rumors about a potential new villain coming to the MCU, and some rumors about Thunderbolts. We also going to talk about Chris Evans and what he had to say about like his favorite movie, MCU movie that he was in. We're also going to check out some leaked photos from the Batman Cape Crusader animated show that I believe is coming later this year. Hopefully, it's coming later this year. Dakota Johnson talks about Madam Web flopping and how the whole experience behind it. Then James Gunn responds to a fan question about Superman Legacy, and we're going to talk about why this should give you a lot of confidence about the new, not Superman Legacy, but the new Superman. So, Lottie, plenty to talk about, man. You ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's get into it. So, here at the top of the news, we're just going to talk about a bunch of rumors. Now, look, I get it. A lot of this is probably bullshit. It's just true. I see these things on social media. It gets me excited for a minute. Then they say via Daniel RPK or something like that, and I'm like, all right, this probably isn't real, but let's talk about it anyway. So take these all with a grain of salt. So Captain America: Brave New World. We know that it's getting retooled. There's going to be additional photography. They're sort of fixing the story. We heard last week that maybe they were going to get rid of the Serpent Society. All that stuff. They're working on it. But there's a couple rumors about it that sound pretty interesting, actually. One of them is that they are going to be, fighting over, investigating, what have you, adamantium. Now, we know vibranium, of course, is a thing. Adamantium is an alloy of vibranium, and it's the claim to fame for adamantium is basically being Wolverine's skeleton in his claws. Now, of course, there are many other people like Lady Shiva and so forth that have adamantium as part of their costume or their exoskeleton or whatever. But really, it is Wolverine. And since we know Wolverine will be coming into the MCU, thanks to Deadpool, adamantium makes the most sense. So that's one thing. The other one is that Tiamat Island, Tiamat, of course, being the celestial that was half born but then died because of the Eternals, is going to be part of the main plot of the film. And instead of being called Tiamat Island, because the Eternals are the only one who knows it's Tiamat, it's going to be called Celestial Island. So, Lottie, what do you think about these rumors? Do these sound credible? Do you even want to see any of these things that they're rumoring?
I kind of don't. I kind of don't believe it because, and this is why I say I don't believe it. ever since that movie Eternals came out, they have avoided that that giant in the middle of the ocean like the plague. Don't exist. To them all of a sudden just be like, hey, we might have a big battle on top of it. I don't know about that one. I'm like, eh. I mean, for them to be fighting over adamantine, which will again just be an excuse to make Black Panther 2.5, and which will in turn bring the guy who has jungle fever show up. Need to stop making these jokes, but I can definitely see, yeah, the adamantine makes 100% sense. I mean, Captain America shield, what is it made out of? Adamantine.
Well,
Adamantine.
well, it's more.
Hmm?
It's a vibrate. It's not adamantium. It's a
Well, it's
vibranium.
vibranium.
But I,
Vibranium, which all it makes sense that they're going to start. Adamantine is something that needs to be start because, like you said, Wolverine's about to show up.
yeah.
So you have to get that ball rolling.
Well, I see it. This makes. I actually believe this is probably true. Two things. One, the Celestial Island could possibly remember it rose up out of the sea. Where is another significant source of vibranium? Right, is in the ocean. Because we know from Wakanda Forever that Talocan has a significant amount of vibranium and are hoarding it, but they can't be the only place in the ocean that got vibranium. So it would make sense to me if Tiamat Island, aka Celestial Island, as it rose up, became a source of adamantium, in the sense that in his rising, but not fully coming out of his cocoon, perhaps the island itself is brought up the vibranium, and then through some whatever process creates adamantium from the vibranium. Or there's all sorts of ways to explain it. The point is, it's possible. The other part is that we know that the world wants vibranium, and Wakanda's like, you can't have ours. And so something that's as good or nearly as good as vibranium coming to the surface would be a major conflict point that, of course, Captain America might have to wade into. And also they're probably going to break the shield or something like that. There's going to be a reason they need the adamantium. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So I think I believe this. I think it makes sense, and it would be nice if they would actually talk about that big old celestial sticking out of the fucking ocean. I'm just saying, maybe talk about it. So we'll see what's up with that if they release more information. Another quick rumor here, and I just put this on here for Lottie, your reaction. Armor Wars, reportedly Gwyneth Paltrow will come back as Pepper Potts. Hopefully she'll come in her rescue armor. That's literally it. There's no more information than, hey, this is going to happen. Supposedly. Lottie, I don't believe this shit. I'm just going to tell you, I don't believe it.
We call this the sauce. It's not source, that's the sauce. Because they're like, what's your source? Trust me, bro.
I mean, it sounds good because, of course, she is Tony's widow. She's got access to all of his armors or whatever. It would be nice if she talked about why Tony gave Peter the access to the Death Satellite, not her. But whatever. It would make sense, in the sense that Armor Wars would be, is about securing Rogue Iron Man armors, and Rhodey would be in it. So I mean, the reason why I say I don't believe it is I can't imagine why Gwyneth Paltrow would want to show up for it, like, at all. Unless Kevin Feige just like begged on his knees to her, just show. You don't have to put anything on, no suit, no, just show up and just say some lines and then just that make this legitimate. That's the only way I could see it. But I don't know that I believe this right now. So, moving on to another rumor, and this one's a lot bigger. So we know that the MCU is we're in a bit of, I don't want to call it a crisis state, but just definitely in a time when the MCU is really rethinking some things. They're rethinking what they're doing, in part because Kang didn't really go over the way they thought he should, and Jonathan Majors and all his problems. So they're kind of looking for they're looking big bad, a new Thanos, if you will. And Lottie, I'm gonna tell you to pick up the phone because I'm pretty sure I feel pretty strongly that I mentioned this character as a potential replacement. Remember, we were even talking about it. They were like, "Oh, this is a great time to bring in Doom," and I was like, "Fuck that noise! Don't do that when you got this guy right here." So these rumors are about Annihilus, the ruler of the negative zone, who not enough people know about, but he's a badass motherfucker, and y'all should know. Y'all should know that in the comics, he was at the forefront of an army from the negative zone that destroyed like a huge part of the galaxy. Just saying. Anyway, so the rumors are that there's a chance he could be the main villain in the MCU's Avengers 5 film, which right now it was Avengers 5 was was it Kang Dynasty, but now it's whatever. And then he could Annihilus is, they say, perhaps the ruler of the negative zone. Yeah, no, he's a negative zone guy. But he's been banished by a specific someone outside of time and space, and will be connected to the Celestials from the Eternals. So that would explain why Annihilus hasn't been around, but that he'll be connected to the Celestials, meaning we bring the Eternals in. It will mean they'll have a reason to show up in Avengers 5. So Lottie, I mean, you know who Annihilus is. You know what's up. You know his pedigree. What do you think about this possibility?
Listen, please. You know why this is? I say please. Get rid of the timeline stuff. Let's just sweep that underneath the rug. Sweep. It'll be cool that you'll have it that there's this whole nother, like, instead of a whole like different timelines, it was just the entire universe of like against the other one. Like adding Annihilus, because you know what this means? Well, they kind of already made. They can't use them, can they? Shumagaraf. They can't use Shumagaraf, right?
No, but I'm sure. I mean, they can't use him, but I'm sure they could do something similar. Then just name him something else.
Yeah. So adding, I think this is, like you said, what they should just do. Start doing the different dimensions, like adding him. Someone like him. Shumagaraf and stuff, because these guys, because here's the thing, you don't have to do much complex writing. They'll just say, hey, this guy's from the negative zone, he's evil, just make him badass. You know what I mean? You don't have to do complex storylines of like what you did with Thanos. And
I would hope they would, though. Like, we need more reason than just I just want to fuck things up.
I mean, I'm not saying. Well, here's the thing. I'm not saying you don't have to write him well. I'm saying you don't have to give him a complex background. Right. You don't have to work on like, he's from the negative zone. It's just where he's from. You know what I mean? It's like you said, with the connections of the Eternals and all that stuff, which is good, because I like, honestly, man, what they were doing with Kang and with the Eternals and all that stuff, it kind of was confusing. I'm like, you have to pick one. You can't have your cake, ice cream, and popcorn and eat it too.
Well, I think Annihilus would actually provide a pretty good way to tie off the whole Kang thing. Not to kill him, not to have him never be a character ever again, but to sort of tie him off in terms of, or I mean, to give him a more graceful exit from the MCU, than probably just ignoring him, or maybe just recasting. And so it could be that Annihilus is in out of space and time, has been removed from space and time by He Who Remains, right?
Or hear me out. Hear me out. That Kang that got fucked up at the end of Ant-Man becomes Annihilus.
Yeah, but I kind of because he's dead, or he was sucked away. But you could make
that
it
could
so
have been the negative zone.
You could make it in such a way that he inadvertently, one version of him inadvertently frees Annihilus, and then Annihilus is capable of crossing dimensions, and then goes on a Kang killing spree and starts, basically
you can
cleaning
do that.
up. Yeah, cleaning up all of the variants. Until there's only one, there's only one left that he and that would maybe be Victor Timely, since he's Kang, but he's not. And so he gets rid of all of the multidimensional Kangs, and that just that solves your problem. And since he's so powerful to be able to cross dimensions and fuck up every Kang, he would be pretty essential to Secret Wars, because he's a cross-dimensional threat. So I'm just saying it's possible. But Annihilus, y'all go read up on him. You trust me when I say he is not a joke. He's far less than a joke. He again literally led an invasion force from the negative zone that proceeded to just damn near destroy the Skrull Empire. Basically, did destroy the Skrull Empire, and nearly destroyed the Kree Empire. So take that as you will. It would be very interesting. So we'll let you guys know if we find out more information about that. More MCU rumors, and this is about Thunderbolts. These are some interesting ones. Let me just say that. So apparently in Thunderbolts, according to the rumor, Yelena is going to lead the team. Hell yeah, I say to that. And the team is going to be U.S. Agent, a.k.a. Walmart Captain America, Ghost, Taskmaster, and Sentry. Then it says Val, Bucky, and Red Guardian are not on the team, and that Red Guardian only appears in the first and third act, and Bucky has a subplot where he is investigating the team. So we talked about rumors last week about, I think, the whole being called the Thunderbolts because of the soccer team, which is like, ugh. But these rumors actually make me feel like a lot more interested and a lot better about what possibly is going on in this Thunderbolts movie, which, by the way, is filming right now. So, Lottie, does any of that sound legit, or even does it sound interesting to you?
So he's investigating the team. That's what Bucky's doing. So this is almost like what is that? Suicide Squad type movie, right? Is what it feels like.
Yeah, except I don't think any of them are going to get their head exploded if they don't stay on mission. So, yeah, I think out of all of them, only Ghost is really a quote bad guy. I guess Taskmaster is too, but she's more a mercenary. So, not sure.
I completely forgot what Ghost can do.
She can phase.
I know she's from Ant-Man and the Wasp, but it's like
she got phasing powers basically. She can, because her powers were basically causing her to be semi-solid some of the time, so she can sort of control it and go through walls and shit like that. Pretty much. Mm-hmm. So she actually is a pretty interesting character. Just, I didn't like the fact that she was the big bad. Like, she was the big bad, and then like the other guy, but like really, she's the only one with any real, I don't know, power. But I liked her character. But yeah, so think about that lineup for the Thunderbolts, though, man. You gotta admit, that's a heavy hitting team. It has the Sentry on it. I mean, what else you need? I mean, I guess Ghost, but like it's got the Sentry. They pretty much can handle anything. And the question
Yeah.
is, what are they doing, and why are they
Yeah.
together? Do you like Yelena being the leader?
I won't lie. I would have liked Bucky, but I don't think he's really part of the team. I think he's just there and he eventually joins up. But it makes sense that she will be the leader of the team because, U.S. agent can't trust him to be a leader really anymore. Can Taskmaster even talk? Just, just,
Maybe she learned, or maybe she didn't get snapped and she learned in the 5 years or something like that.
just
And
it
you,
isn't,
you sure as fuck don't want Sentry running anything. You barely
no,
want him on the team.
yeah,
Ghost, yeah. So yeah, it makes sense. And also, I mean, put Florence Pugh front and center in anything, and she's gonna kill it. So I'm down with that. I don't like that Red Guardian is barely in the movie. That's not cool.
yeah.
Like that's my dog. I need more Red Guardian, not less. So Val not being part of the team. I mean, yeah, she's not part. She runs the team. She's not. She's not gonna be on the team. What do y'all? Okay. So that all sounds promising to me as far as I'm concerned. It sounds good. We'll see. We'll let you guys know if we find out any confirmation of those. So moving on from rumors, let's talk about a little Captain America, the real Captain America, not Walmart Captain America, Chris Evans, where he talks about, look, this is what you call a common Chris Evans W. This is, he calls Captain America the Winter Soldier. It's his personal favorite Marvel movie that he was a part of. He said it was one of the more satisfying experiences I've had in my Marvel run. Like I said, Lottie, common Chris Evans W. He said, like, he said exactly the right thing. I'm just saying, like, would you agree? Well, would you say it's his best movie in the MCU?
I I agree with him, but I also hate him because now I wish I. Oh, what a good movie! The Winter Soldier, still to this day, I will like. Like if I'm just like scrolling through TV and I see it. Oh, let me go. Let me go watch the Winter.
Wait a minute.
Just,
Scrolling through. You talk about flipping channels. Is that a thing that people do?
just sometimes when I'm at my dad's house or something,
Oh,
or
okay.
like
I got
just
you.
anytime. Like it's just the Winter Soldier is a movie that it doesn't. It doesn't feel like the movie.
What did Napa say? The shit just don't get old.
Yeah, man. That movie came out 10 years ago. It doesn't feel like it. That movie was so damn good. When we ranked all the MCU movies, we rightfully put that bitch in S. Cause my God. I agree with them. Like The Winter Soldier is one of the best Marvel movies I've seen. It is in my easily top 5 Marvel movies I've ever seen. It was so damn good. Chris Evans is right. I knew he had fun playing the movie because just the way he acted in the movie. Damn, man.
You get good Sebastian standing there. Like I would argue, you probably get the best Nick Fury in there, right? You probably even get not the best. Now the best Tony Stark is still probably the snap in Endgame. Like that's peak Tony Stark. But he's damn good in this movie. There's so much, and Chris Evans, I like that he said it was his personal favorite movie that he was a part of, and one of the most satisfying experiences. Which we know he's a consummate actor. He's been in a lot of things. He's pretty well renowned, but in his mind, this is one that really, as an actor, just kind of hit all of the right things for him, and I love that for him. I love that he can look back and say like, yeah, I was a part of arguably one of the best comic book movies that's ever been made, and I grew in my craft and really had a good, memory about making this thing. I'm down for it. Let me also say, anyone who's interviewing for the rest of, as long as Chris Evans is happy to talk about the MCU, y'all keep getting this man to drop these little nuggets, because I'm down for that. Look, I would listen to Chris Evans talk about how great being in the MCU was forever. So keep on doing this, whoever you guys are. And Chris Evans, keep on getting those dubs. So Lottie, this is something special. It's especially for you, but also for me. My friend, we're old heads, right? It's fair. It's fair to call that. I was a teen in the 90s. You were a kid in the 90s, but we both mutually can agree, Batman the Animated Series. Look, you can argue other ones. It's probably the best superhero cartoon of all time. Like just straight up. Like there are others that have high marks, but consistently Batman the Animated Series, just the best probably comic book cartoon of all time. And so they announced, I think a year or two ago, that they were going to make the Batman the Caped Crusader. It was originally going to be on HBO Max original, but when Zaslav came in, they decided to shop it around, and because Zaslav's a fucking dumbass or smart, either however you want to look at it, if he wanted to make some money. But they shopped it, and Amazon was like, yes, please, thank you, we'll take that. And so they're going to be putting out Batman the Caped Crusader. It is being written. I was going to say it was Bruce Timm is part of it. Being written by Ed Brubaker is one of the writers on it. Also, Mark Bernardin, who we talked about, who was doing that Anansi Boys comic, and also a TV writer and everything. He wrote on Masters of the Universe Revelation for Netflix. He wrote an episode for this, so I'm really excited about it. Lottie, I feel like you're excited about it, and glory be to the gods of comic book stuff, because we got some leaked pictures from this show. And my God, I cannot underscore how on point this is. And it's so on point that I knew as I watched it, I'm like, there's gonna be some people on the internet that aren't gonna like this, because they're not steeped in the tradition of Batman the Animated Series. They're not it's not their thing. They watched Justice League Unlimited or later, stuff. So, Lottie, I went on a lot about that just to set this up. Lottie, I just want you to look at these pictures. We're going to talk about these, and just tell me how you're feeling about them. So, go ahead.
There's only two designs that I'm a little disappointed in. Harley Quinn, I'm a little disappointed in, because it just looks too normal. You know what I mean? Like, it just looks... She looks like one of the jesters, a part of that, what's that woman's name? Remember that woman who can, that she has, like, psychic powers, and she, like, turned the people into, like, the cards of the games? That's what he doesn't look like someone that works with the Joker. You get what I'm saying? It looks way too toned down. You know what I mean? It looks way too toned down for Harley Quinn. Mm-hmm. And Two-Face... I feel his side of his face is too toned down too. Yeah. Like those are the only two designs that I'm like, if they just feel they went too conservative.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And I get what you're saying. It's not what we're expecting, because we've had 30 years basically of redesign of these characters. Harley Quinn, as she appears now, looks nothing like she did when she first appeared in the animated series. Yeah. But to your point, first of all, I like these designs quite a bit. They were a little jarring at first, because I am, again, steeped in these redesigns from the last 30 years. But when I look at this, you know what it makes me think when I look at this? It makes me think of that retro Art Deco style of Batman the Animated Series, where you weren't totally sure what decade was this supposed was this the 40s, 50s, is this the 80s, is what year is this all happening? Because it's a little bit of old Batman, like 40s Batman, a little bit of modern Batman. There's there's computers and there's cell phones, but there's also like these weird old school looking cars and lampposts and shit like that. So it's just kind of kind of a mixture of all of these things. And to that effect, these are very much in that style. By that I mean, look at Catwoman. That is a basically a throwback to 40s Catwoman, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing with Renee Montoya. But see, that does look very much like Batman the Animated Series, because they went for that more. You even saw with Bruce, whenever he was just Bruce Wayne and not in his Batman suit, he wore those old 40s, 50s style suits, right? So that's where you see Natalia Knight. She looks like Wednesday Addams. Harley Quinn, she doesn't look like that big colorful thing. She actually looks like a Harley Quinn, a Harlequin, and yeah, it's not super, sexed up like she is nowadays, but she's going with the motif that would have been in line with that old school kind of look. And that's, Clayface, Two-Face, all of them. I think it's on point. Like, the more I looked at it, I was like, actually, this is kind of dope, It's not what I'm expecting. Moving on to the next one, we get to see actually, Batman himself. And it is, again, it's a throwback to that old look of Batman from Batman the Animated Series. Even a little bit to, a bit of a throwback, if you will, to maybe even some of the earlier cartoons, just like a little bit of their stylings. And I think it looks pretty cool. Like, it looks like they saw Batman the Animated Series and like, maybe we should do Batman the Animated Series again. Yeah. So just like overall, like you get another one of the logo that's possibly from the title sequence. And I can hear is that, I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman, which again just it makes me excited, man. So just all around, these little leaks, I'm assuming that they're real, but man, just I'm ready. I'm not kidding. Now that I understand what they're going for, the kind of the retro kind of aesthetic, I'm ready to see this in action. So, Lottie, I hope you're as excited as me.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see it.
And the only thing is, man, they better have an iconic intro, because Batman Animated Series intro is just legendary. So they got a high hill to climb to kind of match up with that. But we'll see. Hopefully they'll announce something about it soon, and we'll let you guys know all about it. So, Lottie, you still haven't seen Madam Web, right?
No.
I swear, I'm not even going to try to make you go see it. Just like when it hits streaming, just go indulge in that pain. But the point is, it's not a good movie. Most people know that. It's a big old flop. Even Dakota Johnson acknowledges it. She was talking to Variety, and it says, I think it says a lot about genre filmmaking, the sort of comic book filmmaking, the filmmaking by committee, and how actors don't really have a whole lot of say in what it is that happens once they sign on to a project. And so you can start out on one thing and then end up making something completely different that you didn't sign on for, but because you're contractually obligated, you got to finish this. And even you have to go do press and pretend like it's something, which, Dakota Johnson was not good in this, but I think I also said I don't really blame her that much, because it wasn't her so much as the material or the lack thereof. But either way, she was talking to Variety about that. and I just wanted to read a few choice quotes just so we can talk about it. Talking about the failure of the movie, she said, unfortunately, I'm not surprised that this has gone down the way it has. And they ask again, like, is it, is there a reason for that? And she's basically, it's just like, these movies get made and they get made by committee, and art doesn't do well being made by committee, and that these executives, think that the audience is stupid, and they're basically making these things to appeal or to go to people because they don't trust their intelligence, basically. And she says, like, hey, they can, the audience will know if something's bullshit. And they're just not going to respond to it. And then she goes on to say that she had never done a movie like this. She said, I'll probably never do anything like it again because I don't make sense in that world. It's sometimes in this industry, you sign on to something and it's one thing, and then as you're making it, it becomes a completely different thing. And you're like, wait, what? But it was a real learning experience. And of course, it's not nice to be a part of something that's ripped to shreds, but I can't say that I don't understand. So yeah, it's basically, so you get the picture. She signed up for a different movie than what ended up being made. And because it was being as she said, made by committee, sort of changed in the middle of the production process, and it became something she's not proud of, and she's out front about it. Especially now that she doesn't have to promote it anymore. She's contractually out of it. So Lottie, just with all of this basically stuff, you don't see this a ton in Hollywood. Just someone being straight up honest about the way the sausage is made, and the way, in this case, a shitty movie is made. And, basically saying, hey, I get it. You guys didn't want to see it. It makes sense because, we didn't put out a great product. Yeah. She's like, well, we didn't put out a good product. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be when we started. And, and it's partly the executives and people who are just basically by committee making bullshit. So, Lottie, what do you think?
This is good. And this is happening in the video game industry, the anime industry now, that people who are working, that are like actors, people that work in these companies, like animators and game designers, are starting to speak out now about these video games. Like, I know you heard about the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, how that movie, like, the game just sucked. Like, and like everyone's like saying, going up to Rocksteady, say, why'd you make that crappy game? Hey, don't blame us. They made us make this game. We wanted to give y'all an actual good, like the guy was like, listen, we gave y'all the Arkham series. You really think we'll come out with something this bad? We were forced to make this game. And now they're like, oh, really? Yeah. You guys think that we just wanted to make a bad game just to make money? No. The publishers force them to make these games. It's like the same thing with these movies. The problem with a lot of times, the problem was like, I tell people, what's killing the movie industry is not the actors, the writers, or anything. It's these corporate motherfuckers. But back in the day, they used to just give them the money to make the movie and backed off. Now these people.
Well, I would say that's not all. It's not necessarily what happened. There's always studio interference. That's the thing is, studio. There's always notes. There's always, we want you to do this. There's always product placement. It's always going to be there. It's not really new. I think what is, not necessarily new, but maybe a little more egregious with, superhero movies supposedly being cash cows, is that instead of starting out with a really strong script or whatever, and a director with vision that wants to make this thing happen, instead of doing that, like we saw with Dune and Dune Part 1 and 2, instead of having that happen, instead they get something that, they're like, let's utilize these characters, let's make a story, let's throw it out there, and let's say it's a Marvel thing, right? Madam Web is like that. You can feel the executives pulling the strings on this movie. Where we need to set something up. We need, let's use our characters. People are just going to show up for this thing because it's got Spider-Man looking things in it. And they're just trying to not just tick boxes. They're trying to set up things and basically kind of pull a bit of an okie doke on you with this movie. And it's pretty clear that whoever wrote it didn't have a strong affinity for the character or, characters. They were just sort of probably, third, fourth, fifth draft of it were like, introduce this character and put this in there. Make sure you talk about Spider-Man, all that stuff. It feels like that. So, I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but studio interference is always going to happen. The problem here is it's not even studio; it's studio interference at the gestation of this thing, at the beginning, at the very beginning, and the interference basically makes sure that there's no real creative heart to it. Just that they're trying to churn out a product. So, anyway, sorry for interrupting.
No, that's the problem. Is that of course there's always going to be some form of interference, but now they're getting way too much into it, because before it used to be like corporate. They didn't get as involved like in the gaming industry, comic book industry, all that stuff. They're now getting way too involved to the point that they're literally like, they'll be in the almost done with a movie or a game, and they'll tell them to stop. You didn't make what we like, so you have to redo it. Hence reshoots, and it turns the movie into something that just doesn't make sense. Like good example, I recently watched the new Aquaman movie. You cannot tell me there was a part of the Aquaman movie where his dad was supposed to die. You know what I mean? Like they filmed a part of that movie where Aquaman's dad was supposed to die because he wasn't stabbed, not fatally, because clearly Black Mantis even said it. I'm not going to kill you. I want him to see you suffer. So he just stabbed him like in a non-vital place. But Aquaman was like, your dad's not dead. He's just he's fine. But it's because reshoots and editing the movie together, it came off so cringy. Because you as the watching the movie knows he's not dead, but the actor, what's his name again? Yeah, I'm trying to remember the actor's name.
Talking about Jason Momoa.
Jason Momoa acted that scene because probably when they first did the scene, his dad was supposed to die, but instead they are like, in the reshoot, he's not dead. So, but instead of putting the reaction in the reshoot of him not dying, they put into him going crazy of going, "Dad is dead." He's not dead, bro. It's just so that happens. You see it. You begin to see it now. Like reshoots always happen. We all know that has happened, but it's gotten so sloppy that you can literally tell, like, yeah, that was reshot, wasn't it? Like that doesn't make any sense, So I'm happy that she's talking about it and getting and just saying it, because this has to get out into light that it's not the actor's fault. It's sometimes not even the writer or the director's fault. They're literally put in a bad situation to make a bad movie and all this, and it just
yeah. In the case of Madam Web, I've the writer and director. They are the primary reason why this isn't good. Now, if their contribution was highly compromised by other people, I get it. But you'll get studio notes and demands all the time. You gotta make something good out of it. Can't just sit there and be like, well, I'm just gonna phone it in because fuck those guys. No, just make something good. But I feel for Dakota Johnson. I'm telling you, I said in the review, and I will repeat. Madam Web, the kind of fucked over the characters, but also fucked over the actors because they were given bullshit to do. And by contract, they had to do what they could with it. Daniel Day-Lewis did. Hell, the cast of Dune 2 couldn't have made Madam Web good. There's no way. None of as great as every member of the cast of Dune Part 2 are. If you had put them, excuse me, if you had put them in Madam Web, you would not have gotten a good movie anyway. No matter how hard Timothée Chalamet tried to make it, that it just wouldn't have worked because the meat of the story's bad, the execution by the director's bad, and they don't have much to work with. So it's unfortunate when you sign on to a project where it starts as one thing and then morphs into another, because there's no guarantee when you start making a movie that the script is going to stay the way it is. It is common for directors to make changes because they don't think whatever they're filming works, and so they'll make dialogue changes. But usually with the person that write the script. But sometimes just whatever they'll improvise on set. But usually the shooting script is not what ends up being the actual script. It'll be most of it, but it won't. It'll be some changes here and there. But when you have something like Madam Web, like it starts out bad from conception. It starts out bad in scripts, but and there's how do you direct something that's garbage? I don't know. So good on her for telling the truth though, and just getting that out there. And I didn't feel bad about Dakota Johnson because she was in this piece of crap. I just felt, it's just like I felt bad for all the actors. And so, good on her for kind of just letting us know what's really going on. So anyway, if she says more, gives us more information, we'll let you guys know all about it. Which brings us to our final, topic for the day, which is we just need to make a whole segment of this show just be like, what's James Gunn talking about on social media today? Because he's always at it. I don't know a lot if you saw, and this isn't the topic, but if you saw that he posted about the Fortress of Solitude set that they were working on, that they're shooting on, which I thought was dope. I can't wait. I have to say, if he doesn't have a giant key that only he can lift, I'll be disappointed. Also, I heard that James Gunn is not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con in July because he'll be busy shooting, Superman. So, good. Nose to the grindstone and all that good stuff. But hopefully we'll get some good behind-the-scenes pictures and whatnot. And we'll have stuff to talk about around the time of San Diego Comic-Con. That's not what I wanted to talk about. Instead, I wanted to bring your attention to James Gunn's post on Threads when he's responding to a fan's question, which, again, James Gunn built different. He's engaging with people. Yeah, he take time out to be like, hey, here's an answer to your question. He's a very transparent head of studio. Anyway, fan asked, besides Donner's Superman, what were your other inspirations for making your version of Superman? And he proceeds to answer with, a bunch of pictures. And I will admit, I know Superman. I don't know all of these, but I can recognize some of them. So Lottie, I don't know if you're looking at them now, but the first picture is an old school Superman. When I say old, I mean like 30s, Superman, busting out of a chain that's on him with that old S on his chest. The next one is from, I think, All-Star Superman, in which he talks a girl that was about to commit suicide literally talks her off of a ledge. There's another one which I think is from the Fleischer Superman cartoons from back in the day. Another one, not really sure which one this is. It looks like he's, with Crypto sitting down, probably in the Fortress of Solitude. there's another one which I think is from the Superman for All Seasons, where I think he's standing with his dad looking at a sunset. An Alex Ross painting, painted cover of Kingdom Come. Then another one it's called the Superman family, and this is clearly from like the 50s. Like very retro, old school Superman. I'm not sure which this other Superman was, so I can't really tell you, but he's got on jeans and boots, and it could even be Connor Kent. And then that old school, Superman, the animated series. Yeah, yes, not the video, not Superman not the N64 Superman video game. And then there's one last one where he's floating and kissing Lois Lane. I'm not sure what that's from. So out of those, there's only two or three of them I didn't really know where they're from, but the other ones are from arguably, like All-Star Superman is, for my dollar, the best Superman story that's been told, in my opinion. Superman for All Seasons is considered to be one of the greats. The Fleischer Superman cartoon from back in the day, it's old school and corny, but cool as hell. OG Socialist Superman, yeah. Kingdom Come, one of the best Superman stories. It's not a total Superman story, but it is a Superman story. Like, and of course, Superman the animated series. I mean, what else do I need to say about that? Lottie, I've been talking a lot. I just kind of setting this all up. But these are all of the things that are inspiring and that James Gunn is pulling from to make his Superman. Look, I'm not gonna bury what I was gonna say. I'm not gonna make it ambiguous. My God, this makes me confident in Superman. This makes me so ready to see this movie. Lottie, how about you?
You know what? I could see right now. That just went through my mind as I was looking through these pictures. You know that gif of that Asian girl on the ground crying, going like like getting mad.
Yeah.
Those are the Snyder stands right now. Because he's not going to make the depressing, boring Superman that Snyder wanted to create. He's going to make the Superman that everybody freaking likes. Like this. When I saw this, oh, he's doing the Superman that Wade everybody loves. Superman. The Superman that's a Boy Scout, the Superman that is a human, the Superman that loves humanity and cares about humanity. I'm not saying the James Gunn not James Gunn, the Snyder Superman didn't care about humanity, but my God, was he depressing and boring. I mean, besides his little few like epic punches, his character was the least favorable of any of the things that probably there's going to be oh my God, who cares? We've been pissing off Snyder stands for like since the inception of this podcast. But it's just, this is Superman, guys. And if you are questioning this man's like love of Superman, look at these pictures, damn it. Look, I mean, God, this is some old stuff, man. And I'm excited. I'm excited. And I know he's gonna put us through the house of pain. I want to see how James Gunn is going to make us fall in love with Superman again, but also make Superman powerful but human at the same time. I'm very interested in seeing how he's going to do it.
Yeah, and I think some of the, like, we knew All-Star Superman would be part of this, but that little frame from All-Star, like, he specifically pointed out this particular page from All-Star Superman where he literally, like I said, stops a girl from jumping off of a ledge. That's, because she thinks this, she thinks that no one cares, and he's like, no, your therapist just was literally, was tied up and was actually going to call you back. So like, don't, it's not as bad as you think. And there's a, if you read that just that one page, it tells you everything you need to know about Superman. Like for real, it tells you everything. Yeah. Like everyone's like, he's busy. He's too busy saving the world to save me. And he's not too busy to save you. Actually, he has plenty of time to be there for you. It's just, it's everything that Clark Kent is. But there, like I said, the one from the 30s, like, so he's going throughout the decades, pulling in these aspects of the character, or as I like to think of it, distilling the essence of this character through the ages into the essential Superman, because that's what they have to do with these movies. Like, we never think about it this way, but it's true. These movies have 2 hours to deal with this story, to tell you what you need to know about this character, to really reinforce you this is Superman. So he has to distill it down, like, as far as he can, to what is most important about Superman. And it's his humanity. It's his, taking responsibility. It's a bit of whimsy, because there are whimsical things in here, like with the Superman family, with, the gravitas of a Superman, and, his place in this fictional world, and how he still reconnects with like his past, like with his roots. And it keeps him grounded in a way that you wouldn't think that basically a godlike character would be, but he's grounded. And so, the Superman family and going to see his dad and Lois Lane, all of that stuff makes sense, and it's important. And as I like that you said, he's going to be, he's not dour, he's not down, he's not depressed, he's none of that stuff. He is embracing his heritage and his responsibility, but also his humanity and his love of humanity, and it informs everything that he's doing. I love it. Like, I'm ready for this. I you know what would have been dope though? Not gonna lie, but it wouldn't have made sense because he was busy writing this like years ago. Been kind of cool if he had put My Adventures with Superman on there. I'm just saying, like, if he had thrown that on there, I'd have been like, you know what, we gonna be alright, because you know what's up. So, I guess we can call this another common James Gunn W, because, I mean, if this doesn't turn your needle, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. Just go back and watch Man of Steel, I guess, because, James Gunn's about, look, it could be a shitty movie, but I feel like this is about to be a top tier superhero movie. Just something about this, it's just got the right vibe. So, Lottie, am I overselling it?
No. You're definitely not overselling it.
I'm just saying, I'm excited, man. Look, we're going to keep an eye out on this. Like, we're going to keep looking at what James Gunn says on social media. We're going to look for pictures and all that stuff and the updates. And we're going to keep on talking about this probably to the day that this releases next summer. So you guys stay tuned for all that. And so that's been all of our news for this week. It's been a pretty good news week. I think we covered everything, but you know what? Maybe we missed something. Or, you know what, you agree, disagree, just had something to say about what we were talking about, whatever the case may be. Get down there to the comment section. Leave your thoughts there. And, of course, you can always hit us up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, blurred_force1 on Threads and on Instagram, and super_not_funny show on TikTok. And while you're down there, do us a favor, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. All that good stuff helps with the algorithm so that more people see this channel and see videos just like this. And if you are listening to us on a podcasting platform, you know what to do. Get down there and leave a review. 5 stars would be the best, but whatever you think we deserve. And, of course, I can't do this show by myself. Need Lottie to talk about, to dunk on Snyder stands. Just... he's good at that, and also to talk about comic book things, video games, all that good stuff. So Lottie, my friend, where can they find you on social media?
Oh, yeah, you can always find me on my Instagram and YouTube, which are both the same handle now, Anukinihun. Again, it's Anukinihun, Anukinihun. Again, it's Anukinihun. Please look out this coming Saturday. I mean, this coming weekend, I'll be diving for democracy again. I took a little break from Helldivers 2 because I was staying up way too late every freaking day playing that game. But very soon I'll be back diving for democracy. So if you want to watch me die and scream expletives while bugs and robots chase me, check out my live streams.
Yeah, definitely go check that out. Lottie does die a lot in those, so if you like seeing stuff like that, go give them a watch and a like and all that good stuff. Show some love. So this has been episode 141. Actually, 142 of the Supercast. Can't believe that. 142 of the Supercast. Come back next week. I think we're not going to get to this before Invincible Season 2 starts, but we can preview it. We can talk about some of the news and everything like that. All of that good stuff. It should be a good time, so come see us back then. Till then, I've been Mo, your commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture, joined by the anime expert, video game designer, and lover of all things superhero, my good friend Lottie. And we'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.
Peace.